The first thing many people in Pompeii felt was not fire. It was weight in the air. A strange darkness spread over the afternoon while small stones began striking roofs, shoulders, and streets. Vesuvius rose above the city like part of ordinary life. Then it became the source of a sky that was falling apart. People looked up, confused, frightened, still trying to decide whether this was a storm, a fire, an omen, or something the gods had sent. What killed Pompeii did not begin as one clean moment of destruction. It began as uncertainty. A city kept breathing while the air itself became the threat. Pompeii was not a myth to the people inside it. It was home. It was streets, shops, kitchens, courtyards, baths, shrines, workshops, animals, arguments, deaths, meals, and ordinary plans interrupted. In 79 CE, the city sat near the Bay of Naples, close to a mountain that many did not understand as a living danger. Tremors had shaken the region before. Walls had cracked. Repairs were part of the city's memory. But memory is not preparation for the sky turning against you. When Vesuvius erupted, the danger arrived in stages. The first terror was not lava moving through the streets. It was pumice and ash raining down for hours. Roofs began taking the weight. Streets filled. Light disappeared. Breathing became work. Escape became a decision made without enough knowledge. Some left early. Some waited. Some returned for belongings. Some believed walls and roofs were safer than open roads. Every choice still looked human, practical, and possible until the disaster changed form. To enter Pompeii in those final hours is to enter a city trying to remain normal after normality has already ended. A shopkeeper pulls goods back from a doorway while gray dust crosses the counter. A family gathers children, lamps, jewelry, documents, bread, water, anything hands can carry. An enslaved worker leads an animal through a street, turning pale under falling stone because someone still needs it moved. Dogs bark, doors slam, people shout names into a darkness that is not yet night. The city becomes smaller, minute by minute. Streets that once carried trade and gossip now carry stumbling bodies. Pumice hits tiles, baskets, helmets, shoulders, roofs. The sound is constant, thousands of hard impacts that do not melt, do not stop, and do not explain themselves. People cover their mouths with cloth. They bend under bundles. They look upward and then forward because both directions have become dangerous. Inside houses, fear becomes domestic. Lamps burn in rooms coated with dust. Families crowd near walls, listening to beams strain above them. Some pray at household shrines, some count coins, some wait for the falling stones to stop. But the ash keeps coming, turning furniture, floors, food, and skin into the same gray surface. Pompeii is still inhabited, but it is being erased while people are still inside it. The catastrophe tightened because every hour removed another choice. Outside, the ground rose under people's feet. Doorways shrank behind drifts of pumice. Familiar corners disappeared. A route that was open before could become blocked minutes later. For the old, the sick, the young, and anyone carrying possessions, movement became slower than fear. Shelter was not simple safety. Roofs held the weight until they did not. Tiles cracked, beams groaned. Rooms that had protected families from sun and rain now trapped them beneath the material falling from the sky. The family near the doorway had to decide whether to stay with the walls or step into streets that were filling. The worker leading the animal could no longer trust the path ahead or the roofline beside him. No one had enough information to know which danger was worse. The city's choices collapsed inward. Stay indoors and risk burial. Go outside and risk darkness, falling stone, blocked roads, separation, and suffocation. Move toward the gates and find a crowd moving with the same fear. Move toward the harbor and find that air, sea, and sky belonged to the same disaster. Panic was not one sudden scream. It was the slow discovery that every reasonable decision was becoming wrong.
Then, the disaster stopped being a fall from the sky and became a force moving across the earth. Vesuvius sent waves of hot gas, ash, and volcanic debris down its slopes. These were not ordinary winds. They were fast, dense, burning currents, carrying heat and darkness with a speed that left little room for understanding. For those still in Pompeii, the final shift may have felt less like seeing death arrive and more like the world losing the ability to hold air. Heat pressed into streets and rooms. Breath failed. Bodies dropped where choices ended, near doors, in courtyards, beside walls, in streets, close to objects that had suddenly become useless. A bundle, a lamp, a key, a coin, a child pulled too late through ash. The positions later preserved were not theatrical poses. They were the last shapes of people caught inside a catastrophe that had outrun explanation. Pompeii did not die because its people were foolish. It died because the disaster changed faster than human judgment could follow. What looked survivable became unlivable. What looked like shelter became danger. What looked like time became none. That is what makes Pompeii so disturbing. It was not only destroyed, it was interrupted. Bread remained in ovens. Walls still carried paintings. Counters still faced streets. Objects stayed where hands had left them. The city did not fade slowly into ruin. It was stopped in the middle of being alive. Later, Pompeii would become a place of excavation, evidence, plaster casts, rooms, streets, and names given back to fragments. But for the people inside it, there was no archaeological silence, no museum distance, no famous disaster. There was only a day turning black, a house filling with dust, a road becoming impossible, a mouth covered by cloth, a breath that could not be completed. History often remembers Pompeii as a frozen city, but frozen is too calm. Pompeii was buried while still moving. Its final hours were confusion, weight, heat, darkness, and the terrible moment when ordinary people understood too late that the world they knew had become the thing killing them.